Hello, my dear ones. Grab your tea. Let's get started. Hello, my dear ones. Sharde here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I am drinking mango tulsi rooibos tea that I got when I was back at home. And it's cold because it's still warm outside. I hope you're well. How you doing? Let me know down in the downstairs area where the comment section is and all that. How is our heart space feeling? Now, let me tell you all, I struggle with this thing and I wanted to talk to you all about it. And that's getting over the fear of looking or being cringe. Okay. I have struggled with this probably most of my life as someone who is both deeply introverted as well as has always been nerdy, weird, a bit socially awkward. And as a person who doesn't like to be wrong, so I don't like to look stupid. That's like one of my big sort of apprehensions. I wouldn't call it a fear because usually it's fine. It has never ended up in me like truly embarrassing myself. Knock on wood. But I struggle with putting myself out there a lot of times because, well, I did at least, putting myself out there as far as like being on camera and speaking up and things like that, because I don't like to be wrong. I don't want to look stupid. And I don't want people to be like, oh, she's so weird. But when you can sort of work through that, and I hate to like sort of say get over it, because I think it's something that we continue to struggle with and it gets easier in certain situations, but it is something that you work through. Not that there's anything wrong with like being hyper vigilant about how you're perceived in the world, but I have found, and we know I'll be talking about me in my own life, I've found that me being afraid of how I look or how I'm perceived often keeps me from doing things. And so one of my bigger fears in putting myself out there is always feeling like I'm screaming into the void and then nobody will see it, that nobody cares, that whatever I'm doing is derivative to something someone else does. And really that comes from a mindset of fixed nature as well as scarcity, like feeling like there is no room for you because somebody has done something similar. But the thing is, nobody is doing what you're doing the way that you are doing it. And that is a lesson that I continue to have to return to, that though I see a lot of people doing a lot of things, and I think this is especially true with my photography and my writing to a degree, is always wondering if people will see my things, whatever the output is, and be like, oh, you know, or, you know, they talk bad about you or whatever. And I think that's a common sort of fear or worry, especially because in the age of the internet and social media, people, to me, are far meaner because more often than not, they can hide behind a screen and they're typing, you know, from wherever. So like, yeah, they feel empowered and emboldened to like say whatever is on their mind, especially if it's like the meanest stuff to try to take someone down, especially if you are doing what they're not doing, which is they work. And so I think working through the fear of being cringe helps you, one, to become more settled in yourself and knowing that there are people, like there are over 8 billion people in the world. Some of them are your people. And you never get to find and connect with those people if you don't put yourself out there and you don't go through the phase of feeling cringe, feeling like you're screaming into the void, feeling like nobody is going to discover you or, your work or whatever the thing is. But you should not, and I've said this before, I think to someone else, or I might have said it on the channel, that one, you should not deprive other people the opportunity to know you, as well as you should not deprive yourself the opportunity to be known. And part of that is being like, all right, I'm apprehensive about this, I'm scared, whatever, and I'm gonna do it anyway, because that's the only way people are gonna find me. And like, we are in some ways in such a robust time in the world where you can connect with people everywhere, and we do get to see other people's ways of being, like abroad and things like that. So you can build whole communities outside of the city limits of where you live, which is amazing. One of the things that I am super thankful for is having such a robust community. And many times I've met these people by having to do things that like made me more visible or put me out there. So for one of my best friends who y'all have seen on the channel, Key, and Lana, who's another one of my best friends, I met Key through work I was doing. I was a trainer for the Children's Defense Fund Freedom Schools program. And I met Key because we're sorority sisters, and I was also training. And so I met so many good friends by doing things that put me where people could see me, right? And I know for as far as my life goes, I've been on stage since I was 3 years old. So speaking in front of people, I'm classically trained vocalist, and I was competitive vocalist for well over a decade. I have facilitated trainings where I'm in front of a crowd of a couple thousand people, and I'm clergy. So your girl has been on stage, and I think one of the things that people don't realize unless I tell them is that I'm deeply introverted. And once I get off the stage, child, I'm going to go into the nearest corner, or I'm going to leave altogether. And that is how I honor myself while still being able to be front facing. So I do have a very public kind of persona in many ways, and I still have my private life. And those two things are, I wouldn't say totally disparate, but my public facing persona is a more turned up, charming, outgoing version of my day-to-day self, which she's a hermit, okay? And I'll be talking to you on the camera. And even that, like the process of me becoming more comfortable on camera comes from practice, continuing to put myself out there. The editing gets better because I keep having to edit. And my speaking gets better because I keep having to be in front of people. I will say that for a lot of people, that happens, in their present day-to-day whenever they've decided to do that. Me, it's a little bit different because I've been on camera since I was 10, right? Because I started doing the morning news in elementary school, continued through middle school and high school. And like, I'm not afraid of being in front of the camera. I just don't like to, to be in front of people in general. But I do it because that has been how my life has shaken out, because I love to perform, especially as a kid. I was total performer, choir, dance, all the things, acting. I was always on somebody's stage, and not because I wanted to be seen per se, but because I love the act of performing in general. And so I've had to do some things that have been considered what could be considered cringe, right? I've done improv, right? And I think improv is a really good way to begin to work through that feeling apprehensive about being seen, because it's silly. It's very unserious in the sense that you don't know how you're going to be acting. When I was at BlurredCon one year, we did this improv sort of game situation, and I had to pretend to be Buzz Lightyear. And I really wish that there was video of this, because it was funny. And in the moment, I could have been like, oh, freeze up, I'm not going to do it. Or I could have leaned in and just hammed it up. And I did. And people laughed, and it was funny, and it wasn't that bad. And I will say that I was nervous about volunteering to do it because, again, I do always get nervous when I have to get up in front of a group of people. That has never gone away. Not in over the 30 years that I have been performing. But, again, for me, it's the being with people. It is the assuming characters and like stretching myself and things like that. Those are the things that drive me. So I want to say to you that if you feel like you want to put yourself out there, you want to be doing these things that have a sort of more public facing persona, that it is possible to do that. And to do it, you have to continue to practice at putting yourself in spaces that feel a little uncomfortable. And yeah, not every time is not going to land every time. Sometimes you will indeed look the fool. But it's not the end of the world. Sometimes it does sting, but you keep going every day, especially if this is something that you want to do, because that's how you develop a muscle for it. That's how you practice. That's how you can sort of get in your head, oh, I'm going to do this thing. And even though I feel nervous about it and I'm having these sort of physical manifestations of my nervousness, I'm still going to do it. Right? And you deserve to, because I think that's, again, part of like curating and co-creating a cool ass life, is being able to put ourselves in spaces where we have to be a little uncomfortable so that we can learn to be comfortable, if that makes sense. So let me encourage you that it does get better. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Because even now, when I get to where I have to be on some type of stage or platform in front of people, especially live, I do still get nervous. But now I've developed a sort of sense of how to keep myself calm and how to sort of let go of those things so that I can be present in that moment. And it usually turns out really well. And so I'm a testament to having lived and done enough to where I've been cringe at sometimes. There have even been times when I've been traveling and, vlogging in public still makes me feel like such a weirdo, where, people look at you. Or I've been put out of a grocery store because I was vlogging in the grocery store. And yeah, it kind of sucks in a moment, but I mean, it was fine. I didn't get hurt. And I put it in the vlog. Because that's like the reality too, is when you're a content creator, every space is not open for you to do your thing. And you got to be mindful of that. Anyway, I hope that this encourages you, that whatever you want to do, if you feel an impulse to do it, you should. Because there's a reason for it. Somebody needs to see it. There's someone that you might need to connect with that is going to be facilitated through whatever it is that you should be putting yourself out there for. So let me leave you with a blessing and a desire. It's my hope, my dear, dear friend, that whatever you are driven, you feel the impulse, you feel the unction to do, that you take the steps, the first step, the next logical step, and you put yourself out there. That as you put yourself out there, as you work through your anxiety, your nervousness, your apprehension about being seen, that there will be instances, there will be moments that remind you that what you are doing is where you're supposed to be. That people will see you, that you'll connect with your tribe, that you will grow and become more comfortable so that you can continue to do the work that your soul must have. I hope that you have a wonderful week and you have my best. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.